Hey folks, welcome back to Chronic Pillness. This is a new podcast on medical abuse, iatrogenic harm, but also just sort of how the entire system's been broken and is making us sick and keeping us down, traumatized and sick and tired. And today I've been talking with Johnny a little bit now. We've been getting to know each other. He has a really amazing story. He is from the UK, but is currently living in Rwanda in Central Africa. And Johnny has found both of us have converged on the powerful healing of acoustics and specific frequencies. And I want to bring Johnny on, who has a lot more formal experience with Rife machines and Rife healing frequencies. Johnny, welcome today. And if you want to
Thank
tell
you.
us a little bit about your story and such, that would be really great.
Yes, thank you. So my background is sort of 45 years in technical management in the mobile comms industry and telecoms industry. I'm an engineer really and a musician. So I have technical qualifications, master's degree, the usual stuff.
Right.
Um, and then probably about 7 years ago, so having worked in all this technology, with everybody having an IP address, started to realize that a lot of this technology can be used in a bad way. It's when you start to add it all together,
Yeah.
uh, you can see there's a real problem. Plus, living in the UK is as depressing as it gets, really. So I was wanted to leave, and a couple of years ago left, come to Rwanda. Never been here before. Um, I'm the only white person around for miles, and
Hmm.
uh, came over and to play music and that. And then I opened a music club, and we get a lot of kids coming in. It's really good. But I brought my Rife machines over, and so I started using them on people, and that's the story I'll tell you. I've got some slides that'll enable
Well,
me to talk through them.
can you tell us a little bit about Raymond Rife and his work, a little background here before we just jump into the presentation? A little
Yes, well,
history.
100 years ago, about 100 years ago, the German, obviously, uh, invented, a very powerful microscope, even used today, I think. And so now he could see bacteria and what people call viruses and things. And being the sort of kind of person he is, and he started to play around and play frequencies to them. And in the same for the same principle that an opera singer can sing at like a high C, hold a glass and shatter it.
Yeah.
That's what happened to the parasites. That's what
Yeah.
happened to the bacteria. It
Yeah.
shattered,
Yeah.
and it was after about 3 minutes resonation. When things start resonating, have you ever seen where somebody will put 10 clockwork toys together, all going at a different rate, and
Hmm.
you'll find after a short period of time, they all resonate, they all come to the same frequency.
Right.
So the Rife machine, so he made a machine. I think it's 14 or 16 people he cleared of cancer, and a bit later on they shot him and burnt his notes, as you note.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculed it a bit because that's not really very helpful to the people still in the sick industry, is it?
No. And
But
this
I'll talk a
was
little bit.
and Rife was about 100 years ago, maybe in between World War I and World War II that he was doing this work.
Yeah, 1930s.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's around the
Yeah.
19
Yeah.
early 30s when he created this the first machine.
Right.
If you go back, I can talk about many things, but if you go back in ancient history, you'll know that cathedrals were they're not churches. They were sound resonators with
Right.
water flowing through them.
Right.
And um, and if you look around the time of Royal Raymond Rife, you'll see many people using, big baths of water made of copper, putting their hands in with electric in and fixing everything.
Hmm.
You don't really see those things now for
No.
obvious reasons. And and I think like a lot of inventions, you know, is that even the people that have created them, you know, the Rife and various, you know, go to Tesla and Einstein and all sorts of people. They make things, and they and the later story doesn't really tell what happened at the beginning.
Right.
You know, they found something out, and it's real.
Yeah, it's the powers that be allow certain information to flourish, and they stifle other information. And Rife is a prime example of information they didn't want shared because there's no profit or control in curing disease. So in effective, affordable means
Yeah,
that everybody can, yeah. So. But I'm going to go ahead and cut my video because I'm
yeah.
getting a little choppy here. But let's go ahead and pull up your presentation and jump into that. Um, where do
So,
I go?
oh, is that it? You can see that now.
Yeah. I can totally see that.
Good.
Parasite killers. Yeah.
Parasite Killers. Good name for a band.
Yeah. Right.
And so this is what I'll talk through. The practical experiences I've had here in Rwanda, a little bit about frequencies generally and their uses. These subjects could go off into a long thing, so they're all going to be the top level basic information. How to kill parasites and heal the body using frequencies, which is what we've been doing. And then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the equipment, about what a Rife machine is, how you use it, things that I've learned, not known generally, I don't think, but seem to me to optimize the use of frequencies. Uh, and also, I'll explain the protocol we've got, process we use for people that come here. But the basic point you'll find is that these experiences have proven that parasites are the root cause of illness.
Yeah.
There's no question. So here's
Undoubtedly.
some pictures of the here's some pictures of the club with full of kids. Do like free discos and shows for the kids, and got a set of stage up here.
That's
It's great.
fantastic.
And
Club
I've
Musiki.
also
I love
Club Muziki, yeah,
it.
Muziki, and I've introduced them to bingo, which has been amazing, amazing. The corner of the club here, you'll see. You can't see very well in this picture. There's a couple of guys there
Hmm.
using the machines. You can see like a pink light. That's a plasma. I'll come on to explain that. But this is the setup here. You know, we're here in Rwanda, so that's why the lighting is you look bad on me here, and nothing works properly.
Right.
It's,
Yeah, I've lived in
it,
developing countries, so I can
oh
relate.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's lovely. It's lovely, lovely place, lovely people, but nothing works properly.
Yeah.
And now the thing with Rwanda, it's only a small country. It's only like the size of Wales, but it's
Hmm.
got 14 million people, and it's actually the most populated country in Africa. And the climate,
Well,
which
most
is good.
densely populated. Like Egypt, I believe is the most populated country in Africa, but
Yeah, it's the most
Rwanda
densely
has more
populated.
densely populated. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's just people everywhere,
Or
and
Nigeria. Right.
yeah, you're familiar, and the climate. It never, you know, you can get up and wear a shirt in the day and wear it at night, no problem. It never gets out of the 70s really in the day.
Hmm.
It doesn't get really hot and it doesn't get really cold. So there's
Hmm.
nothing to kill off parasites. The roads are dusty. You know, parasite eggs live for 30 days in dirt.
Right.
People are breathing them in all the time. Everybody's really close and tactile. They're all touching each other.
Hmm.
They're very, very friendly. You know, the sanitation's not American standard. Let's put it that way. Um,
Right.
Rwanda is Rwanda is close to the equator, which is an important thing, and I'll just touch on that. But it's strong UV and infrared lights. You know, in light, these are the things you want. So obviously, these are the things you're told you don't want. You know, you must put cream all over to you to stop the life-saving UV light going to your body.
Right.
It's laughable, really, isn't it? And But everybody here has parasites. I mean, everyone. It's obvious. All their eyes, everybody's got red eyes,
Yeah.
and nobody gets to sleep properly.
Hmm.
And that's the sleep is the key thing because parasites you're working at night when your circadian rhythms digesting your body's digesting. So that's why so I think it's the easiest indicator of whether you got parasites or not. Do you get poor sleep?
Yeah, and I also want to underscore that parasites are not limited to the developed, I mean the underdeveloped, the developing nations, the third world, quote unquote. That this is a huge problem in the West, all across Europe and North America and such as well. So.
Well, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
It's
it's
everywhere.
everywhere. They're everywhere. They've dominated this planet for 300 million years, and we've never done anything to eradicate them or limit them, you know. Well, it limit them a little through modern plumbing, but it's still a huge issue in all every country.
Well, as above, so below, and as within, so without, right?
Hmm.
Everybody has parasites.
Exactly.
I mean, if you live on the earth, you have parasites, right?
Yep.
Um, there's no escaping that fact. And everybody, um, everybody that uh, has a, I've forgotten sorry, I've got lost on my trail there a bit. Uh,
Well, everybody has parasites, you know, it doesn't matter, you know. We all deal with them.
No, sorry, yeah, yeah, that was it. And is that as within, so without. And when you look around you, what is a government? What is a child? What is someone in a relationship with you? They're all parasites.
Yeah,
The police. It doesn't matter who it is. They're living off you. And actually, if you then move it to more obvious, we are parasites
right,
because we live off the earth, off Mother Earth.
right.
So parasites is a huge thing, really, and they're not. And of course, that we don't really people don't really talk about the thing that you can't see, which is the ether, that connects us all together. So clearly, parasites are non-physical as well. And in fact, I think the biggest parasite is language. But
Yeah,
as I going back to what I was saying about knowing, the technology, when you see that everything's in place to be able to address. I can biohack your body,
yeah,
right? The foot soldiers, I think the word you use, which is good, is the army. The
yeah,
thing that's doing the work is the parasite. It's not the technology. It's the way that they've got the parasite to do
yeah,
to
yeah.
control us mentally.
Yeah, yeah, and parasites are the original form of mind control and behavioral control, but now we have
Yeah,
through the media, through movies and TV, through newspaper, through social media is the system is pushing new forms of mind control while denying parasites. So we're being parasitized on many different levels, and then we're getting hit by
yeah,
5G frequencies, Bluetooth frequencies, Wi-Fi, radio waves. All of this is affecting us on the cellular level.
it
So,
is.
yeah.
So you can tell they got that because of the no sleep. So the club here, lots of children were coming into our discos, and they all got skin problems. They've all got
Hmm.
big round skin problems, lots of stuff in their hair, all over them. And I love kids, and so I said to them, come on, we'll get rid of these. And they're all ringworm mostly. They're usually either fungal
Hmm.
or one of the worms, a hookworm or something like that.
Right.
And so put the kids on, the machines, and 2 days later you see them, nothing, all gone, everything gone.
That's incredible.
I thought, oh, crap, wow.
Yeah.
When I know about those machines, I was thinking, what's happened? No, the first thing I put that down to the fact that they're so young. If I was to read the manual on the If I was to read the manuals, I probably wouldn't. They'd probably say you're not allowed to do this until they're 7 years old or something.
Hmm.
I think it's another load of bullshit, really.
Yeah.
Um, the point is, I was thinking because they're young, they're not like me. They're not had years of drinking, smoking, and all the other stuff built
Hmm.
up in the body.
Hmm.
They're receptive, so the frequencies must work very fast.
Right.
For that reason. And then after that, the mothers, heard that their kids are fine. They started coming here in numbers, quite
Hmm.
big numbers. Then there's quite a few queues. And on the basis, if you've got to be on it for a couple of hours, there's people sitting here for 6 hours, but don't seem to bother them much. The common symptoms, if anybody's got parasites, well, first you'll hear bad back, dizzy
Hmm.
spells, headaches, um, dizzy abdominal pain. I've put on their weak legs, swollen feet. They'll have been told they've got diabetes or something,
Hmm.
and also where you people get with parasites, you don't just necessarily get diarrhea. You'll get diarrhea, but then you'll get constipation, and then you'll get diarrhea, and then you'll get there's a
Exactly.
mixture of them,
And a big one that
and
you're leaving out there is fatigue. I think as well as a common symptom, but most of these symptoms are what modern medicine, Western medicine deem as vague and non-specific symptoms. But there's nothing vague or non-specific about them.
well,
They're specific to parasites, these symptoms.
there's plenty of people here that have been told they've got HIV. And I'm no doctor, but I look at the symptoms of parasites and look at the symptoms of HIV, and I find out it seems to be almost identical. Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
ah, maybe it's not. Maybe they just created a name for this thing. Anyway, uh, but these people come and 2.5 hours or so here using the machines to literally fix all the problems.
Hmm.
We've seen like over 300 people now, mostly women had miraculous recoveries. And I'll just tell you all the stories about three people to give you an idea. So after one of the discos, somebody come up and said, "Oh, this lady wants, can you help her?" She's like, I think she's 70, and she was, doubled over. She looks absolutely knackered. I'm getting old myself, and you see old people. When the people look like they're just about to die.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, right, yeah, we'll see what we can do. So she came here on the machines, and then she came 2 days later. That's what we say to people if they want the big problems. And then she's supposed to come 2 days later, and I said to somebody here, I said, Teresa's not here. She said, she's over there. She looked completely different.
That's
Her skin
phenomenal.
was dark. I mean, she looked about 10 years younger. I still couldn't believe it. And anyway, so she had a lot of third session. I mean, virtually danced out the place. And and the next week, the week after, I spoke to somebody. I said, "Is Teresa okay?" Oh no, it was the next day. That's right. And this guy said, somebody saw her out jogging this morning." So what? She was jogging.
That's
It
incredible.
was. I've never seen anything like that.
I love it. I love it.
A girl called Naomi. She came here with her mother. She's 16, and she'd had to quit school. And her mother was crying because she said, the stepmother, not stepmother, mother-in-law was a witch and put a curse on her. And she said, because every room she went in, she was hearing screaming noises, hearing voices. I mean, all sorts of things. It was really upsetting, I suppose. Uh, so we went on the same process, parasite kill, but with some positive frequencies. Uh, and I think she kept, and after once that had gone, so she came again because I said she should do a follow up. No problem.
Really.
Parents delighted, and yeah,
So,
yeah,
so, so in the West, she would have been diagnosed with schizophrenia and put on massive antipsychotics, would have become a vegetable, sensory numb, but you healed her with frequency healing.
yeah.
Amazing. That's phenomenal.
So the people here, the people around here, um, they don't. Some of them, maybe not come here. Some of them say I'm Jesus Christ. This is a Jesus Christ with a machine, and then the other people, and then there's other people I hear them saying that there's Mzungu because that's a word for a white person. Mzungu.
Hmm.
There's a Mzungu from the Illuminati. From the Illuminati. He's come to steal everybody's soul. So,
Right, right, right.
right.
Where you're actually giving them their souls back, it's with these frequencies, it's you are doing the work of God. So I can understand why they sort of paint you as an either or of this Christ figure or this Illuminati figure.
Well, that's
Um,
that's how I described it, the work of God.
yeah,
But the problem is the club that I'm renting, the big room, its big place, was a church.
uh-huh.
Right?
That's
And I initially, called it not club musicy, but church musicy. But I don't really like churches here. I've confused everybody. You've got to be very careful if you mention anything to do with God or something
Yeah, yeah. I'm
related
sure. I'm sure.
to
I'm sure the
business.
missionaries from the colonialist missionaries weren't very friendly to the locals back in the day. So there's probably a lot
No,
of
not at all.
trauma, a lot of trauma there.
Yeah, yeah, there would be. I've been surprised because I expected some hostility, but it's some friendliest place I've been. They're lovely.
Mm,
And I was Francois mentioned Francois because he's quite a big guy, but now we're using a fat burn program on him to get rid of his weight coming down, his blood pressure coming down, and all this.
hmm.
And but one of the things he told me is like with can't remember the name of it now, where your testicles swell and they become solid.
Yeah,
And and what part of the machine uses a coil you can use. So we used that. And again, once. And next time I seen him, how are you? How are your balls? Yeah, fine, all sorted. All right. Now the reason I'm saying that is because I have a prostate issue, and which I'm addressing myself, and I'm
yeah,
fixing myself. But I'm not jumping up and down after using the machine. So I think there's a difference between an African and a Mzungu using the machine,
yeah, yeah. That's interesting.
which is an interesting thing.
Yeah,
So I just go on to frequencies, and again, I'm going to go into detail here, but the first thing you've got to understand is sound created everything.
exactly.
Sound created light, not light creating sound, and
Hmm.
it's true in this, in the second line of the Bible. And God said, "Let there be light."
Yeah,
What that means is whatever you think, or whoever you think God is, but somebody spoke and there was light. Like, words, light.
right.
And again, the word is God.
Mhm.
Um, uh, so frequency is a vibration that we hear as sound. Now, what we're taught about how we hear sounds and it traveling in waves is bullshit. That's not how it works. Somebody standing, 5 yards away from me talking, and I'm here. The just common perception is that what happens is that person makes a noise. That noise goes through the air and is picked up in my ears. That's not what happens. The body vibrates as the person is talking, right? The air pressure moves. And as the air pressure comes to us and hits the hairs on us, we create the sound.
Hmm.
We create the sound.
Right,
So this is the argument you might have heard in spiritual circles. If a tree falls over in the forest and no one's there, does it make a noise?
right,
Well,
right,
no, it doesn't make a noise unless somebody's there listening and picking up that vibration and creating a noise themselves.
right.
You know what I mean? It's a difficult thing to get your head around because we don't really understand audio and the way sound works. But natural frequencies which are sounds, are from the sun. Non-natural frequencies or non-native frequencies are man-made or machine-made, basically. And that's what you was talking about, this pollution or Wi-Fi, microwave, Bluetooth, cellular. They're all hijacking magnetic waves, and that's how they move.
Right.
But there's a lot of that. One of the good things like here is you really don't have that because there's just not the technology in place. So everything alive has a frequency. I mean, a piece of plastic doesn't because it's not alive, but everything alive has a frequency. Uh, the frequencies for all the parts of our bodies and the chakras and things are known. You can see them and you can find them out. That's easy. All our living cells, the billions of cells in the body, are basically constantly singing. They're constantly vibrating. And so each of us, with this collective, all these different frequencies in us, we each have our own unique frequency, which is actually your own song, if you want to look at it that way. But everybody has a unique identity. In the same way that, like an internet network, everything has an IP address. It's a very similar sort of process. And
Absolutely.
so really, really, the word universe, one, verse, song, the
Hmm.
one song,
Hmm.
the universe is us.
Hmm.
It's not but again, as above, so below. So in the body, I think the easiest way to look at the all the various medical things, terms you could use, but basically some cells have stopped singing. They've gone to sleep. They are people will call them zombie cells, living dead.
Right.
They're not regenerating. And the right sounds will awaken the sleeping cells.
Hmm.
In other words, the cell has to be reborn.
Hmm.
And again, you'll get these, and again, if you're Christian, you have to be born again.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
this, all this stories, like for instance, take the Bible. All this information is in there. It's just told as an allegory, as a story.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ is not Jesus isn't a person. Jesus is the Christ oil principle on which the body works. And the story is a thing for children, really. So this next page should show you the range of sounds, which are measured in hertz, and how many cycles in a second. Another German, and you'll see on the far left infrasound. This is low frequency, bass frequencies, but this is where the brain waves and alpha waves are. In the middle, there's a little bit of that where we can hear the range, probably around 40, 50 hertz to about 15 kilohertz. And then above that, there's ultrasound. And there's high frequencies, are particularly the ones that are used in like from Rife generators for killing and also for regeneration, hormonal things. Now, what this is a sound spectrum, and we only hear a very small amount of it.
Right.
It's the same as the light spectrum.
Exactly.
The light spectrum, we can see almost nothing, like 2 or 4%.
Yeah.
So this is where I get my general skepticism from and being awkward and things, is that I don't want to listen to people talking to me when that they're definite about things if they can only hear a very small amount of it and they can only see a very small amount of it, you know?
That's an excellent point, and again, I had to frame things early on when with the parasites is that we have huge limitations in our we think our what we see is what exists. A lot of people, this is sort of what the indoctrination we've been given, but parasites and other things have evolved to fall outside of our visual processing abilities or whatever. And this is what's made them so effective in infecting people and other animals forever. So-
Well, it's the same with as I'll talk about it all now, but DNA. There's this coding system in in everybody,
hmm.
and they know 2% of it, 98% they don't know of it, and they call that junk DNA. When anybody knows anything about nature, there's no junk.
There's no
What,
junk.
what,
Yeah.
what, what, what would there be any junk?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That wouldn't be very efficient.
so then I find, people telling me, that know 2% of the DNA, 4% of the light, and 2% of this. That this is definitely this, and we're doing great work, and we're finding great things out. And my answer is, we don't seem to be able to kill a worm,
Yeah.
and you don't seem to know very much about what you're doing. So if you don't mind, I won't take too much notice of what you're saying. Because if you look at this DNA is always shown vertically.
Hmm.
And actually, really, I mean, all signals, like I just showed you on the slide before, on an oscilloscope, everything we've got, it goes left to right.
Hmm.
It can't go left to right. There's only energy flowing from above us and out and below us into the earth.
Hmm.
Electricity flows to earth. And
Hmm.
so the correct, portrayal of DNA is, as a spiral going down. But if you're going to show sound like music, it shouldn't be going left to right. It should be going down. But if you take DNA and just do the simple thing by turning it 90 degrees, you can see it's music. It's even the same as music notation,
Right.
right? You know, DNA, what they call us is the information in blood, is music.
Hmm.
So I've got a question for you now. I'm gonna, do a bit of a child science thing, really. But why do the birds sing in trees?
Well, because the trees they're speaking with the trees, right? The trees give off a frequency, the birds give off a frequency, and there's a symbiotic relationship going between them, right? They're communicating in a way, right?
Yeah, very good. You're the first person that's answered that question correctly.
All right, go me,
They're
go
helping
Greg.
the tree grow.
Yeah,
You're the
yeah.
man.
I
And
mean, I sit and
and again, I
watch the squirrels climbing in the trees and jumping from branch to branch and getting the acorns. And there's a dance going there. There's a natural dance in the same. Yeah, it's really beautiful to watch nature.
yeah, I always everybody's told you it's all to do with territory, like our society, It's no, it's not.
Yeah.
Um, but the frequency range of birds, they sing get very high. We can't even hear, what we hear in the bird song is
Hmm.
only a small amount,
Hmm.
so we don't know much about that. And as I've put on this slide on the right there, the bird is singing DNA protein, what would be called DNA protein sequences
Hmm.
for the tree to help the tree grow because the tree provides everything for the bird.
Hmm.
It's where it lives, what feeds it. In the same way that the mother sings, or the parents sing to children, the
Hmm.
parents tell you, Gregory, don't do this, Gregory, don't do that. That's all DNA program. It's all biological programming, and
Hmm.
so, you tell yourself what to do. If what's the difference? If that's what happens, the birds sing in the trees, what's the difference between you and a tree? Not a lot.
Yeah.
Same DNA, same gene structure. The difference is you've got blood and the tree's got sap.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, the name
So
Adam from the book of Genesis, Adam from in Semitic languages means of the earth, human. And where the trees are of the earth, we are of the earth. We are, yeah, we're all interconnected. Be it organisms, plants,
yeah,
so yeah, energy, and it's all from
well,
the earth.
listen to people talking about,
Hello? I think I'm
I actually just to touch on that subject because I'll cover that about the difference in biological difference. But on the first page of the Bible, God created man, male and female. He created them, right? So we're all male and female joined together. And then on the second page of the Bible, someone on the seventh day, someone called the Lord God, who's different to God, the Lord, caused it to rain and created Adam and Eve, but created them from the ground. From alchemy, from digging. This is all we do: dig stuff out the ground. It created a different person. Was the question you would ask when Adam was the first man would be like, well, what about the first page of the Bible where it said God created man?
yeah.
There's clearly two different things. I think there is. There's man,
Hmm.
which is someone who was probably born near the equator or started near the equator because it would do.
Yeah.
And there's human, human and human in a human race.
Hmm.
But yeah. So just to sorry, you go.
Yeah, no, I was going to say I did I published a YouTube about 2 years ago, year and a half, 2 years ago, about my humble interpretation of the Garden of Eden, and everything points to me that the Garden of Eden was a legitimate place that was in the Horn of Africa, somewhere around where Ethiopia or so, near the Gulf
Yeah,
of Aden, right? And so I kind of broke that all down. But yeah, obviously life started in the African continent for sure.
yeah. And so to just cover the basics here as well is that, plants contain stored sunshine. It's sun, and you get sun frequencies and onto the plant, and you get rain, your water to move the electricity around. They process in a plant is called photosynthesis, which creates glucose. We eat the plant then, and our photosynthesis process is called mitochondria, really,
Yep.
in simple terms. So the glucose, the sugar we convert into DC electricity. The body works on DC electricity, and we can move and do and talk and do things because we've got DC. We've got an energy, DC energy, as opposed to AC energy, which comes out your mains at home. That's different. DC energy is a straight line. And when you look at us, our bodies, who we are, we're really an antenna and a semiconductor. We're an antenna because our hair, our bones, nerves are piezoelectric. Um, Anybody, if you know about guitars, you'll know that there's a piezoelectric pickup. That's how the sound is picked up from an acoustic guitar, for example. So we are semiconductors, so we convert light into DC electricity. And at the bottom is a picture of a transistor, and on the right is an integrated circuit. There's millions of transistors in an integrated circuit, but basically there's three legs on that. Information comes in, the horizontal part that looks like a T on its side. That's the base that decides what information goes through,
Hmm.
whether any signal goes through. It depends on what conditions are, and it passes it.
Yeah.
So this is how a transistor looks, a semiconductor. The N material in the central part, which I believe to be the female, is the negative, the female. Um, so if you look at this picture, you might be familiar with uh, the creation of man by
Hmm.
Michelangelo. I'm not sure, maybe it's on the Sistine Chapel, but
Yeah.
there's God on the right in the brain, and there's Adam on the left in the raw, and the hand of God is touching Adam. Actually, it's not touching. That's the point of the picture. It's not quite touching.
Mhm.
It's like that end material. If you go back to the transistor, information is coming in, something is there, and what's there is going to determine what's passed to the rest of the body.
Hmm.
And sound doesn't travel in waves. Sound doesn't travel in waves. It travels in spheres.
Hmm.
And if you want to look on the internet and check the CymaScope, which is an invention by an English guy, a Scottish guy, a Scotsman actually, and lives in England. A lovely guy. But that's very interesting because he talks about sound and sound healing as well. So I just want to cover this point. If you're going to listen to frequencies, so I can go on YouTube and on your website, I can look and find useful frequencies to listen to. One of the things that the guy John Stuart Reid found is that listening to listening to music increases the red blood cell production by about 20%. Um, but listening to distorted music doesn't do anything. And also found that bass heavy modern music was better than classical because a lot
Really?
of classical music is what people tend to want to think the obvious thing to play. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, there's quite a lot of people. Well, I say quite a lot of people. I don't know. There's more than a few farmers here, which I know and read about, that play music to their cows and they get more milk.
Yeah.
People when they put seeds in the ground, they all sing. They're very musical. Some very obvious things.
Can I ask you a
Um,
question?
so if you did digital, yeah, yeah, certainly,
Something
yeah.
that I've always wondered, and I haven't looked into this yet, and maybe you know the answer, is that all these classic albums and songs from the 60s, 70s that have been digitally remastered today, has that been remastered for a benefit or for to remove healing qualities from the music? Do you know? Have any insights on that? Like
Well,
what is the point of remastering classic music?
well, because it just sounds louder. When it went through the 80s and 90s, there was a loudness war really with music. And so what happened was, if you was a disco, you always got a disco playing vinyl, and you're playing like Deep Purple record from the 70s, and then you put on, punk music from the 90s. The sound differences are massive.
Yeah.
And so really, when I do that, I do mastering of things, and my opinion is, it depends what you want, but the remastered things are usually just to pull. Usually they pull the vocals out a bit and add some bass.
Okay. So
Not much more than that.
it's not a bad thing that's hurting us in these remasters. It's done to sort of expand the classic. It's
Oh,
not.
they say,
Yeah.
no, no, there's nothing. The other thing is in music is there's everything in music has been tuned to 440 hertz.
Right.
A is 440 hertz, and then you'll read and see lots of people saying, because it was originally in 432 hertz. And does that mean I can get my music, convert it all to 432 hertz, and it's going to do me some good? Not really, no. You'll be wasting your time. Digital music, compressed music, is distorting by
Hmm.
definition. When you record if I record a 3-minute song in digital format, a WAV file, .wav file, it'll be about 40 megabytes in size. If I then compress that to an MP3, which is so it can send it to people, it will be 4 megabytes. So it will have been reduced by 90%.
Hmm.
But actually, if you listen to the WAV file and the MP3 file, you won't hear much difference.
Hmm.
But what you do know is, 90% of it's gone.
Hmm.
So anything that was any good, as what I think what you're pointing to, anything that was any good has clearly gone. You've just got noise.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would say, if you're going onto YouTube listening to solfeggio frequencies or frequencies for the heart, and you're listening to MP3s on YouTube, wearing a couple of cheap headphones or something, or speakers on your Mac, then I think it's a complete waste of time. I would have thought, really,
Yeah.
um, just hearing the noise. You really want to, if you're going to listen to frequencies, you really want to go and listen to them sound live with somebody with crystal bowls and things, or get a vinyl, which vibrates, the needle vibrates, it's
Hmm.
analog.
Hmm.
Get into hi-fi subs because you want the bass frequencies.
Yeah.
They're, and these things are known. Uh, I'll put on there in red now, that many frequencies, as I've said before, you only hear a small amount of the spectrum. So many frequencies simply can't be heard. So the natural frequency of the Earth, known as the Schumann frequency, is 7.83 hertz. There is no audio system that plays 7.83 hertz. In fact, it would probably kill you. Um, I believe actually in the assassination in Venezuela recently, that was how they attacked the guards with sonic weapons first.
Absolutely, they did.
No, it's these things have been around and used as military weapons for a long time.
No, I know. I am the target of these directed energy weapons, acoustic weapons, and have been since I was a child. So I'm very well
Yeah.
aware.
They're not, they're nice to you Americans like that, aren't they? I've noticed they use you as lab rats for everything they do.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
do it on our own people first.
Mhm.
Uh, um, so frequencies for for the mind and body work. Audio, yeah,
Mhm.
but you've got to remember you're only hearing a certain amount. There's two types of frequencies. There's killing frequencies to resonate and expel from the system. And there's regeneration, as I said, remembering. It's really remembering because we know everything. Everything is in us. We already know it. It's been cut.
Yeah.
It's been cut by medicines and things. The feedback loops have gone. The painkillers have killed the pain. Pain is your
Hmm.
friend.
Hmm.
Um,
Pain is telling you things, trauma, anxiety, these things are telling your body and your mind are telling you things and your soul. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's a friend.
Yeah.
So I've got experience of Rife machines in the UK. I know people, that reverse their cancers and many other problems. They're not widely known about. They're either enthusiasts, that want to fix themselves at home because they've abandoned the doctors, or people who have got desperate, really. Um, they've been abandoned by the doctors, really, and told to go home and die. So they suddenly they'll try anything.
Hmm.
But Rife machines work, but they take a bit of effort and time. Before I came here, I got shingles,
Hmm.
and my shingles never really caused me a problem. It was gone. It was pretty much gone after 2 weeks using a Rife machine, and I think that's like 6 to 8 weeks normally. They cost a few $100s to a few $1,000 depending on the setup. But the interesting point from my point of view as well is that they're really only sold to and by um, Amazongus. They're only sold in America, Europe, and Australia, uh, none of which are near the equator. So, using them near the equator might be a big deal. But nobody's used them here. Nobody's heard of them.
Right.
You can't buy them. So I know the things I've been doing are probably the first time anybody's done it. I'm sure. I can't imagine why anybody. They haven't got the money here. They're poor people.
Right.
The only person who would have had one here in the 1950s might have been a missionary, but I don't think the missionaries were, allowing the locals to use their rife machines.
No, definitely not. And so how did you get your Rife machine to Rwanda?
So then I bought one over, and but then I wanted to buy some more. I had to import them.
Hmm.
That's the only problem here. The the customs and the tax is very high.
Yeah.
Makes everything very expensive. So I'm going to talk a little bit about these machines we use. We've got two types of Rife machine. We've got something called a Magnetex, and I'll talk to you about detoxing the body remotely and using stickers. Uh, but with the people here, we consider it more or less essential to do a 3 day water fast. There's a key, it's a resurrection story. The 3 days, to get your system, clear your system out. Eat local food, avoid sugar. Difficult here. We've got people chewing on sugar cane as a meal.
Right.
Earth yourself, get your shoes off, go and stand on the floor, on the ground. Sit in the morning sunshine when the UV and infrared's very strong. And two things I find very useful is wormwood tea, which tastes like shite, to be honest, but it does the job, I think, and clove water in the morning. So we would say to people, do these things, not just us doing things.
And when you say a 3 day
The
water fast, that means 3 days consuming nothing but water.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So you can read, if you look online, you'll find out there's amazing things happen in the body when you do that.
Yeah.
Uh, the first thing I'll talk about is called a Magnetex. I think it is made in Texas, actually.
Hmm.
It costs about $1,500. But there's in the same way that heart works, there's four huge magnets in this, and it creates a vortex. When I tend to, so it's I tend to think of it as like a sort of heavy metals vacuum cleaner. Uh, what it does is you use it like a massager, but you just move it around the body, or you can hold it in a certain place. And what it's doing is it's pulling out the metals, and also cleansing and enabling the blood to flow. So if you've got bad muscles and things, it's very good for that. People love this thing. So I'll mention this because if you do have many of those issues, I would definitely look at purchasing something like one of these. It's been very good. One of the frequency generators we have, Rife, is what I would call a standalone device. This is you plug the stuff in and switch it on, check the program, and away you go. There's nothing technical required. And so what you see here is a machine with some controls on it, and then the two wands that are plasma. That's that pink sort of light you can see is plasma. You just hold them, and then there's two foot plates. You put your feet on with take your socks and shoes off, earth yourself to the machine, and you just sit there with it. That's it. You don't feel anything.
Mhm.
This is about $3,000. I think it's about $3,000.
Mhm.
This machine.
And
It's
and
very
so
powerful.
so how short of a session with right frequencies can you do to notice start noticing benefits? Is this something you recommend doing daily for like 5 minutes, 20 minutes, or is this something more
Well,
like
again, it depends on what the problem is. But this 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 device, I've got a book here I'm showing you, and it's just 1,200 programs. Some of them have got three frequencies, some of them have got 23 frequencies.
Mhm.
So you look through this, and it says ALS, abdominal inflammation, abdominal pain, abscesses, acne, acute pain, acne. There's another one. A girl singer come in here with acne. It's 19 or so. She went on her face, all over her face. She used the machine once, it's gone. I
That's
just thought,
phenomenal.
wow,
Phenomenal.
that's absolutely unbelievable. So people use really probably looking at half an hour to an hour generally of a session of one.
Mhm.
Um, if it depends if you can measure something, like for instance, if I've got some prostate issue, I haven't got a way of measuring my prostate. Um, so, how many times will I use it? Well, I'll just keep using it and then until I can get another measurement and see what's happened.
Right.
But for people, you get people coming here, say got a headache. There's a headache program. It's about that's about 10 minutes, and everybody that's been on it, how's your headache? Gone. So you would go on your symptom really.
Hmm.
So you'd find what you'll find is if I was to take the average person there and say they spend an hour on this, right? I can pretty much guarantee that most of their symptoms will be gone in the morning, but they'll be absolutely shattered when they leave here. They'll want to go to sleep. They'll sleep all night. They might sweat. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It knocks. You don't feel anything, but it really hits you.
Yeah.
This second type of generator we use is called this Spooky 2 generator. So these are more affordable. And what happens is with this is it's not self-contained. It doesn't have its own software like the other one. You have to connect a Windows laptop or a Windows tablet to it. Only old Windows 7 or 10 looks fine. But what happens is you connect it to the generator going the left on the bottom from left to right. You've got these hand cylinders. You hold them, metal cylinders,
Hmm.
or this is a plasma. You sit near this, and it flashes. So the plasma is light. So this is delivery of EMF, electromagnetic frequencies into you. This is delivery of that by light. The interesting thing with this plasma device is if I put it in a room and sit 50 people around it, they'll all get the frequencies. Um, it's much more powerful if you're close to it,
Yeah.
but they will. This one here looks like a circular thing there. Is a coil. It's pulsed EMF. So that's EMF being pulsed. So it
Hmm.
can penetrate into the body about 6 inches. So this is, for instance, the guy who had a problem with the testicles just sat on that for an hour, and his
Hmm.
problem was gone. This
Hmm.
this next one is cold laser. So people in physiotherapy perhaps familiar with cold laser. It's been around for a while. So if you got we had Pete lady here last week, she had foot was really hurting. They put this on, foot was fine. Um, it works with a laser basically. This last one, I don't really use this. This is ultrasound. You can, because the body is mostly water, so sound is a very good way to get frequencies through water because electricity and frequencies travel faster through water. Um, this isn't a You know, the setup for this kind of thing is probably about 400, $300 or $400, I would say.
Nice.
Um, if you want to, and this is the same equipment, but you see at the back there's a larger unit.
Hmm.
That's the central unit. That's what I'll run the plasma on.
Hmm.
And what happens with this is that your plasma will be running frequencies to kill parasites. But if you also connect these contacts, these hand contacts there, this works like if you've ever heard of a zapper.
Yeah, yeah.
What it does it zaps like very high voltage for a very short period of time, so you don't hear it, you feel it, but it's just to
Hmm.
kill everything.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
the plasma, so really, if you're killing things, you want these plasma, you want contact, you want power.
Hmm.
So the spooky too, that what I've just been showing you, uh, it needs some technical skills,
Yeah.
but there's a big database on it of 60,000 programs. Just everything is on it. Anything you want to mention, any parasite, any drug, any bacteria. Um, there's a lot of help online. They're very good. It's a very useful um, Facebook sharing group.
Hmm.
But everything is in the databases. And so I write here every parasite there, every physical and mental health condition. I mean, it's 60,000 programs, spiritual databases. So the Ayurvedic frequencies and Bach flowers, if you're familiar with that. The interesting thing, I haven't really tried this uh, much, is that if you name me a medication, if you tell me ivermectin or methylene blue, I got frequencies for it.
Right, right,
You know? So some people use it like that, rather than buying and taking pills,
right.
they'll just emulate the frequencies of those pills
Hmm.
without being invaded by them.
Yeah.
Um, um, and as I mentioned here, use AI for data. You can find anything out, the frequency of anything using AI. Well, on its answer, what it'll tell you is this is a load of nonsense. It's not scientifically supported, blah blah. But it can't hide the data. AI, it can't hide the data. It can't lie on the numbers. It can't change all the numbers,
Yeah.
but it can top and tail information. And the other thing you can do with this same generator, this Spooky 2, two things are really interesting. One is if you was to cut your fingernail off now and send it to me, um, what I do is take the fingernail off and put it into this little box, this remote unit here, and I then put frequencies on here. You will get them wherever you are.
Really?
And again, yeah, the point at the top is quantum entanglement. So I don't have time to go into that, but the point is, like I said before, your frequency is unique.
Yeah.
That's just you, right?
Yeah.
And everything in the world is connected to everything else. Everything on Earth is connected through an ether, or you want to call a matrix,
Hmm.
or the medievals would have called it the living, what do they call it? The living, not the living spirit, the living force, the vital force
Right.
that's there. Everything's connected.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Um,
I guess that's where like spellcraft of witches and warlocks, or where they'll do like spells with people with their cut hair or something, and while the person's not there, but they can cast these spells on people with pieces of their hair or
yeah,
fingernails or whatever. Yeah, yeah. Huh.
yeah. And on the right there's a roll of little stickers you can buy out on Amazon. They'll be about $10 for 1,000. But you can put these stickers into these remotes and then charge them with frequencies, which we do for everybody. We charge them with a load of frequencies for their particular problem, and then you just stick them on you.
Hmm.
If you've got a problem on your leg, you put them on your leg or you put them on your abdomen. Um,
Hmm.
that's the what we use this for is that everybody that we see, we tell them, you're going to kill stuff, so there's stuff's going to be in your body. You've got to detox your body. So there's a 11-day program on here that does detox. So detoxes all the chemicals, all the metals, all the parasites from your intestines, your lymph glands, your liver, kidneys. It's very good. That works well.
That's phenomenal
Um,
information, Johnny. Thank you.
Is it okay? Yeah. Uh, I think you can optimize the usage of these devices. And I'm in Rwanda, and I don't know exactly what I'm talking about some of these things because it could be the other way around. But these things are clearly very helpful. Sunshine, getting local light, earthing, eating local food, which is local light, it's in the food, and also the dark skin seems to be a thing. So I'm just going to talk through now the thing I sent to you in words
Okay.
about these areas. Actually, I didn't mention the equator on there, but here we're near the equator, and the sun, the infrared and the UV are very strong. Now, I make this point because it might help someone. Because as I understand it, the strong UV and infrared, balance the fact that the water has got a lot of deuterium in it, hydrogen, um, known as deuterium, which is balanced. And again, like your circadian rhythm, it's balancing you. Um, food is mostly water. Bodies are mostly water. If you look at the average, look at any food, you'll find at least half of it's usually water. So if you live far from the equator, like where I lived in the UK, and you're eating stuff in supermarkets, which most people do, it will have come from a place with different water. It will have come from a hot place, that's got the deuterium in the water, but you're living in a place that hasn't got strong sunlight to balance it. So I think what would happen is that a lot of the food you're buying, if it's in particular, well, it will be imported, and it's got water in it. It's come from a different place. You haven't got the strength and the sunlight, so you get you can. I think you can get a problem from this. Um, I'd suggest if anybody wants to know about this quantum biology, Jack Cruz. I don't know if you've heard of him,
I
but
have.
watch his videos. He's very, yeah, he's fantastic stuff. Really good guy. And I know that he and people, when if people have got cancer at bad stage, they buy deuterium depleted water. When I bought some when I was in the UK, it's online and expensive, but again, it's a thing to look into if you've got a
Yeah,
cancer.
I know that Gary
Yeah.
Brecka, who's done the podcast circuits and stuff, he really is an advocate of people getting hydrogen tablets and putting that in their water. It's sort of a biohack
Oh,
to improve
really?
your health. Yeah, yeah. He pushes that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the other thing is when people leave here, they go well, they've got in natural clothing, not much clothing, and cotton, so it is not an insulator, and they're going out in direct sunlight, which is clearly going to help.
yeah,
Sun is where everything comes from.
yeah. And
Everything, earthing.
yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
No, I was just going to add
Yeah.
that with the cotton thing, I guess we're on a little bit of a delay here, so we got a couple seconds. But anyways, with I obviously cotton, linen, wool, natural fabrics are going to breathe and have a frequency that's healthy for you, whereas if you're wearing nylon, polyester, all these synthetic fabrics, this is going to hurt you, kill you. So I just wanted to accent that point that those of us that are using
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
synthetic clothings, they're hurting us. So, and in the same
Well,
with
if it starts with
synthetic shoes, which will bring us into earthing. Yeah,
exactly, if most things are polyester now, and the cotton that comes out of China and places isn't really cotton. They're insulators, basically, they're plastics.
yeah.
Uh, Now, when I think about people using the machines that I've been talking about, and there's many people in America and the UK, let's say, doing, well, many, there's people doing that. I'll pretty much guarantee they'll be wearing shoes. They'll be dressed in insulated clothing. They'll be in small rooms with false light, full
Hmm.
of radiating signals from Wi-Fi and all the other crap, and an
Hmm.
outside environment that's not got much sunshine, and also bombarded with this frequency pollution, it's not going to help.
No, no,
You know, it's
and
not.
you have the UV lights or whatever, LED lights and fluorescent lights all the time, and blue screens from your blue light from your screens, and it's
They're terrible.
all of this is just wreaking havoc on us and causing all these chronic health issues and environments where the parasites thrive. So,
Well, the question you got to ask is what would happen if you could hear those frequencies?
right,
You'd probably be shocked. It would, it would sound like, well, I can imagine what it would sound like. But
hell,
what's happened here, like what it is, and every in here, the floor's made of clay. Everything's, they make the bricks here for the houses here, and so everybody comes here. We're barefoot, they're barefoot on the machine all the time because it's obvious to me. Frequencies, you're going to run frequencies through your body. Obviously, firstly, you want to be drinking water, that's or drink water, but they're all going to flow to the earth. If you're sitting on, and I think this is true, like with people in bed and in many things, they seem to forget, that they're mostly insulated from
yeah,
all the good things all the time, whether they're in the car, whether they're anywhere. Everything's plastic everywhere. They're not
yeah,
actually getting any sun. And
exactly,
they've got people trying to block the sun in, with the chemtrails and things. You think, work it out.
right.
Um, but if you're going to put regeneration frequencies into your body, or you're going to listen to them on YouTube, I think you should earth yourself. Here, local diet is really mostly vegetables. Um, People, they're athletic, they're mostly thin, they're walking everywhere and biking everywhere. But what's really easy to see is the ones that have got money and a car a bit fat because
Yeah.
they don't shop at the markets. They don't the cheap local vegetables. They buy the stuff in the supermarket. So the difference between local food and supermarket food, you can see it here.
Hmm.
I mean, I can like yesterday I buy 30 eggs. Buy 30 eggs here, it's your equivalent price would be $3. Right. $3. So what's that? 10 cents
Yeah.
each egg.
Yeah.
It's the good thing is for no, I think for me it's great because actually all the best foods, all the really low price stuff,
Right.
and it's
Exactly.
the
And that
thing you
that's the
got
way it
to.
should be, and that's the way it needs to be in the West as well. That we need healthy foods, non-processed foods to be more affordable, you know.
Well, I think it's generally not just not really understood. And again, you need to watch Jack Cruz things. But what's important about food is the light that's in it. It's not the what type of food it is. It's the light, and the light, is marked, is stamped with the place where it came from, effectively, like a barcode.
Hmm.
So what that means is, if your body is, your master clock, your circadian rhythm, and then every cell in your body has got its own clock and all working from the master clock that's telling your body when to relax, when to sleep, when to digest. If all this food's coming in, all this stuff's coming in, and it doesn't know where it's from, it can't be in rhythm. You're going to be out of rhythm with your environment because it doesn't really know what your environment is. Where does this person live? With all this different stuff coming in, and I think that causes more of a problem than people think because most of the food in the supermarket doesn't see any light. The animals don't see any light.
Hmm.
There's no sunshine. They're genetically modified, so there's virtually nothing, no light in your food. Your food's like dark.
Yeah,
And
and it's
when I
also sprayed with pesticides and such as well too. So,
Yeah, and for those of us that you've bothered about this sort of thing for a while, what food you eat, it's very frustrating because you pay a lot of money out for organic things, and then what we're forgetting is that of course any of the good things that are in the food, which isn't much, will be firstly eaten by your parasites.
hmm.
So no wonder you've got a B1 loss of, a lack of, I think many people have got that problem. No wonder you've got an iron overload problem. There's no copper coming in. Anything good that's coming in the food is being stolen before your body gets it.
Exactly.
And what, and when it doesn't get, and the detox system's not working, but the body, really it goes into chaos,
Hmm.
which medically they call inflammation, but basically leads to fat, it's swelling. So I'll put on this second slide here, but I won't read through it, but I think it's pretty much impossible to have a local diet unless you live near the equator. I mean, so in terms of food, you've got to be looking in America. You've got to be looking to try and get state level. I know because there's I know there's hot parts and cold parts, but you really want it's light. It's the light you're after. That is the light that's more important than the type of food. And so that as I mentioned there, this is all about mitochondria and the conversion of light. Um, Point here is about African bodies. Basically we're all semiconductors. We're an antenna and a semiconductor. We convert light into DC energy. One of the things I know, and I've not done much about yet, I'm trying to find out more, but dark semiconductors absorb natural frequencies better than light semiconductors, and the people here are dark and they've got melanin in their skin, which actually makes them more difficult to be attacked by these would you call them, the nano weapons or the directed energy weapons.
Huh.
It's more difficult to get through the darker skin, and so I would like to. I'm just keep asking now. If there's anybody on that as an African, not living in Africa, that's used a Rife machine. I've been really interested to hear from what they've found out.
Yeah, that would be
And
really interesting to know that kind of information. Be really good to know.
yeah, it would help me eliminate things. I think if you're a dark-skinned African, my point would be I'd probably think about spending some money. I think you might be surprised at what it does to you.
Yeah.
But the same applies to Mzungu. The same applies to white people.
Mhm.
Because I think maybe a lot of people are using these machines and not earthing themselves, which I think is a mistake.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, because I hear that, on user groups, I watch many videos. The guy will tell you is this count is going down, and they'll be using the machine every week, putting them by their bed. It almost becomes like an obsession, really.
Hmm.
But I've not seen anything like what I've seen here, and why it works so fast. And the protocol that we use uh, is that you spend an hour on the plasma machines killing. We do a biofeedback scan. Now, what that is the Rife machine, the more complex one anyway, I'm able to send all frequencies to your body, and some of them will resonate and say there's a problem here, there's a pathogen, the machine will give me then a list of those frequencies that were bad for you. So then you can run kill program on those frequencies. Um, you can't do a diagnosis like this. You just know that there's some dodgy, what I would call in the UK, dodgy frequencies, and you can kill them off. So that takes about 40 minutes altogether. They do a full body scan massage with the Magnetex machine I mentioned. If anybody's got painful joints, or there's another type of laser device here that you can stick in your nose or your ears if you've got sinus issues or problems. Everybody cut a fingernail off and run detox program for them. You should do that at the same time. And we create a holographic sticker. So I'll put Schumann healing frequencies on, Schumann frequencies, the earth frequency, solfeggio frequencies for all the chakras, Kundalini, and antiseptic. So that's what we do with everybody, and it seems to work really well.
It's amazing.
So the basic point for us is parasites, proof of what you've saying. They are the root problem. We have had people here, they'd come with diabetes, and we say, oh, we run diabetes frequencies, or we run uh, frequencies for this or frequencies for that, and that's chasing symptoms. I don't think that works. I
Hmm.
think you've got to find the
Absolutely.
root, the root, the root cause of the problem, obviously, and get rid of that. And it's really all about vibration, electricity, magnetism, sunshine, which there's not much of. Last place I lived in the UK, there was hardly any sunshine. I lived
Yeah.
up north, and water. And I keep looking over there to light a cigarette up,
Nah.
because I wanted to make this point because and it's nice to have the opportunity to talk to you, but also it's nice to have the opportunity to annoy a few people, right? Because I've smoked all my life, and you get battered. You've been told you're a pariah, and all these bad things. You're made as if you're some five-headed monster if you smoke cigarettes. I mean, I don't like it. There's some bad things I don't like about it, but I've always, looked back in history and say that people have always smoked tobacco, and same with weed. Actually, what it does is it engages your right brain. And if your right brain's engaged, then the parasites aren't going to be doing anything because you'll be far too relaxed thinking about other things. And so actually, I should try and make out to annoy people. That's a good thing. That's a really good thing
Well,
for you.
well, well.
And
Nicotine has is an antihelminthic. It's an anti-parasitic drug, and it also improves cognition and things. It's just the delivery method. Unfortunately, big tobacco has made most of the tobacco poisoned. But I
yeah,
personally use nicotine pouches now. I'm a 30-year smoker, pack a day smoker
yeah.
that I've quit that, but I still use the nicotine pouches because there are clinical benefits to nicotine. So, but I do need to allow my lungs to heal, and so I just can't smoke cigarettes or vape anymore. But yeah,
I think the problem is it's the way we smoke. We suck it into the lungs. We shouldn't really do that.
yeah,
But you've made exactly the point I was going to make is that then I found out a couple of weeks ago that nicotine kills parasites. So I
yeah,
was thinking that's going to be a difficult one to give up now.
yeah.
Um, but what makes me smile about this is how you can see some things. Is
Hmm.
that one of the arguments you would make, as a smoker, you would make to people would be, well, why do the government pick on smoking so much? They don't say so much about drinking.
Yeah,
Everybody drink. There's
yeah.
masses of problems from alcohol, but apparently there's no problem there. And then when I heard the nicotine thing, it made me realize, you see, because what happens, when you smoke a cigarette, then of course it's all the things that happen are going to kill parasites or
Yeah.
bad. But when you drink alcohol, it converts to sugar.
Yeah, exactly. And alcohol exacerbates parasitic infections, whereas nicotine combats them. And so does cannabis is also has anti-parasitic qualities. This is why
Yeah,
cannabis is so great in dealing with a lot of people who have chronic pain issues that are due to parasites,
yeah.
because the cannabis is combating the parasites. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the alcoholic thing, because is that if one thing parasites want, well, two things. One is iron, and one is sugar.
Sugar, exactly, exactly. And all alcohol breaks down in our intestines into sugar. So,
Yeah, so
yeah.
I've just put on here an email address if people have got any questions.
Awesome.
Uh, I don't like social media, and I've got there's a website, a YouTube channel there. But if you've when you've recorded this, and if you can send me a copy, I'll put it on our YouTube. So people, if they've got a question, they could leave a comment, on the video.
Absolutely, absolutely. I will post this video on my account, and then I will allow you to download and upload it onto yours as well. So,
Great. Okay.
just
Yeah.
spread
Very
the
good.
love. Yeah, spread the love, spread the information. The more people can access this, I'm not looking for personal gain from any of this. I just want the truth and true healing to reach every single person, and the way that the system suppresses this information, the best way to get it out is to not be like out of or acting out of ego with proprietary information. It's just like, let's just get this information out there. Let's heal, you know? So, yeah, but that was fantastic
Well,
information. Sorry, go
don't
ahead.
cast your pearls to the swine.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
cast your pearls to the swine.
yeah.
But the thing is, and you know, we use a machine. We talk to someone. You can talk to someone, and people, people at work help me. There's three lads that help me, and we don't charge. Well, we just started charging, a little bit because I need to make something to pay them, basically. But you'll find people, literally on death's door. Why don't you try sitting on one of these machines? Oh no, it's like what you can take a horse to water. You know these
Hmm.
phrases,
Hmm.
but so I like to share. Sharing is a nice thing,
Yeah,
and so if people see this, and a handful of people decide to do something, and it fixes their problems, jobs are good, as say
yeah.
in the UK.
Right, right, right. Exactly, exactly.
Everybody's happy.
Yeah, yeah. And that's
Yeah.
all that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be, living in purpose and healthy and it's it's possible. So let's just get this
Well,
information out there.
I, I feel nearly, physically ill when I think about, the deliberate pain
Mhm.
that's caused to so many people, and the people here, they got no money, and the majority of them anyway, and they go to the doctors, they go to the hospitals, and if you haven't really got any money, it's kind of I've heard of people with all sorts of problems, and somebody's given them doctors giving them some multivitamin tablets, or basically people with quite difficult problems have more or less been told, well, I think you're best to go home and die, really. And it's not nice to see all the pain and suffering
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know
caused.
if you've heard
And
about it in Canada. They have government assisted medical assisted suicide now for those people who are chronically ill and not getting better, rather than introducing them to Rife frequencies and changing their diet and things like this. They're like, no, we'll just go ahead and take you out, and because
yeah,
yeah, the
well,
the Western governments are evil. They're killing us and they're profiting off of our suffering. And it's really it's ugly.
yeah. Well, I think the other thing is that people are always looking to, who's to blame? Who's to blame here? Is it them? Is it the Masons? Is it this?
Hmm.
Is this group of people? Is it
Hmm.
the Illuminati? Is it the
Hmm.
Jesuits? Really. But when you look at, if you understand really, I think more about frequencies and audio, and the way that we work, you'll realize that who's in control? We are, because we're collectively thinking,
Hmm.
based on fear that we've been told
Hmm.
that this thing's happening, and of course it's going to happen.
Right.
So we're driving it in a way.
Yeah.
There doesn't need to be anybody in control. It
Hmm.
becomes self-controlling.
Right.
Meanwhile, many people just fill in their pockets basically. There's nothing to be had by finding in an immoral system trying to mete justice out to people. The
Yeah.
system's rotten,
The system's completely
and
rotten.
really, all the things that we need, are all close at hand. And I was mentioning when I talked about herbs, but when you look at if you understand the concept of light in food and how important its location is, the next question is, when I go online and somebody's selling me a load of supplements for all, with good herbs in them, if they're not from my area,
Mhm.
and they won't be, they'll be from Jamaica or Barbados or some tropical place. Are they really going to be any good for me?
Right. Limited benefit,
Because they're
maybe.
not they're
Yeah.
not local.
Yeah. And
They're
so
not
one
local.
the best bypass around that is through fasting and frequencies, listening these right frequencies and stuff,
Yeah.
because that's Yeah. Hey, this is what every religion talks about is healing through frequencies and fasting. Um, oh,
But also the things around you. I used to in the UK would use dandelions. If you know
hmm
dandelions, the
hmm
yellow flower
hmm
garden, daisies, daisy, see the
hmm
day,
hmm
nettles. I'd get nettles here and they make nettle soup. That's good. Nettles. They're all local. So
Right.
it's a local is the answer really in a lot
Yeah.
of these things.
Yeah. 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 Well, awesome, Johnny. That was an amazing presentation and valuable information. I'm so glad you reached out to me and that we've had this conversation. It's um yeah, this is great. I wish I had the finances right now to acquire right stuff, but in time, it'll come. It's coming. So, but
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I
This is yeah. They some people do sell your service, but it's very difficult because the machines can be quite expensive and everything's done to stop you advertising. You know, you can't say this, you can't say that. The basic technology there is about you need the kit is about 350 dollars, I think. So you need some money, you know, and
yeah.
there's a few suppliers, but yeah,
Yeah.
get some money together and get yourself on.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I can't wait to play around with a Rife machine. Really can. But right now I'm limited to listening to my frequencies on YouTube, which are benefiting me hugely. Listening to solfeggio
Yeah,
frequencies while I sleep in the middle of the night and things like that. And of course, grounding, earthing, getting tons of sunlight. Getting long walks or bike rides are phenomenal. Things like that.
yeah,
Just we got to get back to the basics in order to heal. So,
you have, yes. Good. Well, it's nice to speak to you.
yeah,
Hope
you
that's
too,
useful.
Johnny.
Okay.
All right. Have a blessed day. Thank you so much, Johnny.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye.